I'm back, and I'm here to talk about Raid Shadow. If you were to ask me, my favorite game from the 7th generation of consoles would have to be Catherine. In a time that was popularized by generic brown shooters, Catherine was a title that intrigued me the more I kept looking at it. When it first came out in 2011, there was nothing that I saw that was like it. Originally, I passed it off at first, but then I looked deeper and found one of my favorite games of all time. It's been 8 years since then. I've grown, and my life has changed so much. And thanks to Atlus remaking most of their titles, Catherine was given the same treatment recently with Catherine Full Body. And after a long time of playing this version, I can proudly say that Catherine Full Body is the best remake Atlus has ever done, and it's worth revisiting this horrid nightmare. Like its title implies, Catherine Full Body is a remaster of 2011's Catherine. The new staff at Studio Zero took control over Full Body to offer a new perspective on the title. Immediately, the new title screen shows you just that. The screen from the original happened to be one of my favorites, but the new one has a lot of charm to it. I really like the piano motif they went with here. It's unique and it fits the new things they added. I still prefer the track It's a Golden Show, however, but the interface and UI really complement this new version. Of course, Trish had a little bit of a makeover, and that silver dress looks pretty good on her. And our special broadcast of the Golden Playhouse begins with this all-new intro too, and it is a banger! I really didn't care for the original intro, but oh my god, they made me fall in love with the acid jazz remix. Like the original game, Catherine Full Body is structured between a loop of our unfortunate protagonist, Vincent, being awake and asleep. While you are awake, you experience the story, and you're at your local bar, the Stray Sheep. During your time, you can talk to your friends and other patrons, drink, play an arcade game called Rapunzel, and send text messages to others. The game has a lot of choices for the player and Vincent to make, and some of them affect his morality throughout the story. The Stray Sheep is important to the game since it acts as a safe haven, or a delay the inevitable. The other side of Catherine is the nightmare. You will go through crazy nights filled with multiple trials that test your skill and puzzle block pushing action. In the original, the puzzles only had one set path, and it would be the same to clear them each time. The only difference would be in hard mode is that you cannot undo. However, in Full Body, each puzzle has been redone to match the difficulty. This does mean that some puzzles might seem easier, but on higher difficulties, I welcome the challenge. What's also new is Remix Mode, which adds colored blocks that stick together. It makes you think differently within the stages, and you'll find new strategies to work around them. You could choose to either do classic stages or remix once you start. I recommend classic if it's your first time jumping into the nightmare, and remix if you played the original and are looking for something new. Like I've previously mentioned, the puzzles test your reactionary thinking in different ways. Each night adds a new type of block to get yourself used to. If you talk to the sheep during the landing area, you can learn some techniques in order to survive. These aren't just moves you accomplish by the press of a button, they are techniques you have to remember and keep in mind in order to survive what the game throws next at you. While in the landing area, there are others you can talk to who are stuck in the nightmare just like you are. They might seem a little familiar though. They're also going through different problems, and it doesn't hurt to talk to them, whether you might know them here or maybe somewhere else. At the confessional, you answer questions based on your morality, and just like in the Stray Sheep, how you answer does affect the story and Vincent's way of thinking. Then afterwards, they send you to the next trial. After a select number of trials depending on the nights, you will reach the final area. but something chases you. Every night it's different depending on what's happening in the story. These are my favorite parts of the nights. The boss battles are so great because you have to figure out a way up and handle whatever they throw at you. You're juggling multiple mechanics at the same time, and yeah, it's stressful, but that's the thrill of it. You just have to keep going while this modern remix of The Hunt on Fowl's Legs adds to that tense feeling. And when you do reach the top, and you get that perfect gold score, it's so damn satisfying that you'll be singing hallelujah to the heavens.
Yeah, baby, I beat this night!
While the gameplay of Catherine is enough to hold it by its own, the story is always one of my favorite aspects of it. Our protagonist, Vincent Brooks, a 32-year-old man with a girlfriend named Catherine, with a K, gets sucked into an affair with another girl named Catherine, with a C. As if this affair isn't bad enough, Catherine, with a K, relationship starts to get more serious as she's adding more responsibility and pressure to it, for a good reason. And C. Catherine happens to bounce into his life, putting even more trouble on him. During this time, he is suffering with the previously mentioned nightmares where if you fall, you'll die in real life. Other men have their reasons for being cursed in the nightmare, and as previously mentioned, so does Vincent. This is why I love this gameplay loop. Vincent ventures through the toughest nails nightmares, and then you are rewarded for what happens next in this crazy love triangle. It's interesting, it's why I originally played it. The full body version includes a brand new character named Rin, and with all new cutscenes and story paths. What really pushes this remaster more than others is that all the voice actors from the original game return for full body. I mean, they even got back Troy Baker and Laura Bailey after they've moved on from Atlas Games. Seeing these two return felt like I was back home again. Unlike some other company that wanted to be cheap and have another actor record the new lines, and then keeping in the original lines anyway and thinking no one would notice. Now there are a total of 13 different endings, and some of the new scenes actually add to the storyline in some ways. All the new Kay Catherine flashback scenes makes Vincent and her's relationship seem more genuine, and you can see why they loved each other. It makes the player realize more what Vincent had to lose in this web of lies he's stuck in. New C. Catherine scenes are always a plus too, especially if they can get a chuckle out of me. But a slight nitpick has to be with the new in-game cinematics. They clash with the original scenes, especially since new and more detailed mocap was done. Not to mention, they also made a lot of weird cuts and camera angles here and there that are completely alien to the rest of the game. But the new character, Rin, is why I fell in love with this remaster. To explain, I'm gonna have to go into spoilers for both the original and definitely full body. You can skip here to avoid them. Rin is introduced at the very beginning of the story as someone with amnesia, and starts working at the Stray Sheep with Erica as the pianist. Her performance is horrible. But through it, Vincent supports Rin. Rin starts to appear on their nightmare and plays the piano during nights 2 through 6. On night 2, you can tell Rin is trying so hard to save the sheep and Vincent with the performance. Every night through supporting each other, both Vincent and Rin get remarkably better. Vincent at climbing through the nightmares, and Rin with the piano. The interactions they have during the daytime are honestly pretty cute, but slowly, Rin's personality starts to come out here and there. For example, when the gang, for some reason, are discussing same-sex relationships, Rin just simply puts it as,
Is it a big deal? I guess I never thought about it that much. As long as you love each other, that's all that matters, isn't it?
So they don't even need to be human?
Yeah.
Later on, when Rin is getting harassed by a local drunkard, Rin speaks up to this man when he says to do what he says with,
Excuse me, but are you in charge of how other people live their lives?
It shows Rin's resolve in not letting other people's thoughts get in the way in how you should live. By day 5, the song Rin was playing now sounds just solid. It's so good that the whole town's talking about it. But the next day, however, Vincent discovers the truth about Rin.
Huh? But are you a guy?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Vincent responds pretty realistically.
I mean, I had no fucking clue when I was falling. I mean, no, I wasn't falling in love or anything. I mean, what kind of a guy looks like that? What was I supposed to think? I mean...
Bursting out of confusion and rejection.
Hey, Vincent, are you alright?
Don't touch me!
I'm sorry.
Rin, wait, please!
He goes to apologize to Rin, but unfortunately, Vincent might never see Rin ever again. But when he gets to the bar, he questions his own feelings. His intervention, in my opinion, is very effective. He steps back to be honest with himself. And now, depending on your choices, it will lead you to the original endings or the new Rin path. But when he's honest about his feelings toward Rin, he grows as a protagonist. Vincent throughout the affair has been scared of admitting what he's doing, but whenever he's around Rin, it brings out the best in him. Catherine with a K focuses way too much on matrimony, which pressures him. And C. Catherine lives free and invites Vincent to do so, but this also pressures him because of the responsibilities he has and him giving into lust. But Rin represents what both were missing in their relationship: support and balance. Now, I feel that's the most important part of a relationship. Being with someone that can not only bring the best in you, but also be understanding and support in what you do. Rin and Vincent never judged each other. They pushed each other to be better and wanted to be honest with them. So, when Vincent does get this new resolve, he has to...
The fuck, Johnny? Sorry, that just pissed me off.
Okay, Johnny doesn't take it too well at first, but his friends are understanding. Not only does he take full responsibility for his actions, he admits his feelings are genuine and doesn't choose to hold them back. Every interaction he had with Rin made him comfortable in being himself, not having to hold back what he said, and Rin makes Vincent see the world in an all-new way. Someone who's willing to do that should be important to you, no matter who they are. Like Vincent said himself.
I mean, when you think of it like that, who gives a shit about gender, you know?
Even when Johnny punched him, his friends are willing to accept who he is. So now comes the new path. Vincent takes full responsibilities for his actions by breaking up with C. Catherine and knows he has to talk with K. Catherine. And Catherine is more honest with him during this point too. One of my least favorite scenes from the original game was the 8th day in the morning where Catherine breaks up with Vincent. To me, it shows why that relationship wouldn't have worked out. It's a completely one-sided conversation, and while yes, Vincent is at fault for not saying anything to her about the affair, but when you just look how threatening K. Catherine is to him, can you really blame him? She acts like he did it with malicious intent when it was the complete opposite. She made assumptions and never gave the time to let Vincent explain until the very end of the game. And oh, the thing about the baby still pisses me off. It makes her come off as hypocritical and not being completely honest. If you need to test someone in a relationship, then that relationship isn't strong enough to begin with, or it got weaker as time passed. But Catherine tells him she isn't pregnant over the phone this time. And after a good night's sleep filled with
Why couldn't you be happy with just me? Am I really that undesirable?
Vincent! Let me kill you already!
I'll kill you before she does!
Calm down! Both of you just...
Yes, I am loving this! They have a more mutual breakup. 8 years later, the final boss fight with Mutton is still so enjoyable. Like, yes, this boss fight is so freaking raw! He's always gonna be constantly taunting you, the puzzles are as hard as they ever been, and yeah, you might die a good amount, but make sure you go for that gold prize. Especially when you laid the smackdown just by climbing blocks and coming out on top. And after kicking Boss's ass almost instantaneously, we meet Ren's brother and
Hey, is that really your brother?
Yeah, in this world, people refer to us as angels.
Angels? Like literally?
Absolutely unacceptable! Explain yourself! Taking you home is not enough. We must eradicate the whole of humanity! Die like the insects you are!
Please stop it! If you saw the strength of his will for yourself, even you would understand.
If you insist, we shall offer this human a trial before the end.
Right. But wait, what, a trial? Of course, it's something like this.
Yep. It's overtime, baby. Not gonna lie, these last stages were really damn fun. The Archangel Final Boss 2, his stage was very challenging. This night introduces laser blocks, and yeah, that led to a couple of deaths by yours truly. And I also liked thinking around the clone spell. It kept me on my toes, and I love it when devs do silly fake outs like this.
This is our power!
Oh, come on!
After all this big brain hours and whooping his ass, we find out that we're actually playing the alien route. Yep, Ren is an angel that comes from aliens. Huh, never change, Atlas. But this route goes to show you to not hold yourself back. Follow your heart, and it will lead you to the top of the tower. And heck, you might even reach for the stars tonight. For those fortunate enough to survive the nightmare, there is the Babel mode. 4 towers of random blocks await your challenge. There's Altar, Menhir, Obelisk, and Axis Mundi. Each one you have to climb a number of blocks to reach the goal, and they are randomized. Babel is really tough, but they made it so much easier to unlock. Originally, you had to beat all the nightmares on hard to unlock these stages, but now, you just gotta beat the game. You can tackle this mode in co-op, and beating a Babel stage is so satisfying. And even in Babel mode, there's an extra special guest that includes a new cutscene. Yep, Joker from Persona 5 is here, for a fee. It's nice to see the Phantom Thieves, but really, do we have to pay an extra $5 for this? Even when I bought the premium edition? Speaking of 2 players, there's the updated Coliseum mode. There is now multiple playable characters for a fee, 2 new stages, an option to turn off and on items, and you could go head to head online. I didn't get to play online because I didn't remove my PS Plus, unfortunately. And what would an Atlas remake be without new music? Now, originally, music took a lot of precedence in Catherine. The original score by Shoji Meguro is still great, and there were 20 new tracks that were added to the game. There's a new jazzy remix of also Spyridge Brooks that you hear at the Stray Sheep more often. A modern version of Flight of the Valkyries at the last stage. And who could forget Tomorrow, Rin's theme? A theme that, just like Rin, gives you hope, the willingness to go on, and know that there will be a tomorrow. Just keep on climbing. I would also like to give Atlas USA props for the wonderful localization, as always. Also, the Heart's Desire Premium Edition is one of the best editions you guys have ever done. It comes with a nice box, a metal case, which should have had a sleeve in my opinion, a soundtrack, a separate art book that actually has concept art, and a cute sheet plush. And look, he even has Vincent's little undies on. Oh, he's so cute. Honestly, even after 8 years, Catherine hasn't aged a bit. Due to the art style and graphics Atlas went with originally, it stood the test of time and didn't even have to worry about aging. The stylized graphics made it stand out then, and to me, it still stands out now. As a remaster, do I recommend Full Body? I personally say yes, because I enjoyed this title a lot. There's no harm in playing the original either. I mean, now that it's on PC, you have no excuse, James! But to me, no matter how much you like your line, light, medium, or full-bodied, you still have time to crack it open and enjoy the strange tale of Catherine.